Yes. Yeah.
But like the comparison, like with me and some of the other guys.
So that'd be something neat to see, the Harris Centers.
The Pirates playing in Williams.
Welcome back for the third period. Now, for the love of the Phillies in the playoffs, we decide the third period, our favorite playoff series.
Go ahead. You can lead
Actually, you'll lead off. Go ahead.
All right. So I picked the 2008 NLCS, which was the Phils and the Dodgers. So the reason I picked this, and I could have went with the 09 one as well, because they met each other in the NLCS both those seasons. But the reason I went with 08 is because 08 just seemed it was more tense. I mean, granted, the 4-1 record of that series doesn't tell the whole story. And the reason being is Game 3, when Hiroki Kuroda threw a fastball at Shane Victorino's head and the bench is cleared. That is stuff I love seeing. Not that I love seeing guys getting pegged in the head with a baseball, but
Yeah,
it's that intensity. It's watching these teams who the next day probably will text each other and say good game and whatnot. They all get along with each other. In that heat of the moment, everyone came out. They're scrumming, they're yelling. That's fun to me. Seeing that is fun because it means that they're invested, they're fired up, and that series was the one that made Matt Stairs a folk hero in Philadelphia with his late game homer. It's what sealed the deal with Cole Hamels being the MVP. It was a more fun series to watch than the World Series with the Phils going against the Rays.
And the funny thing is, nobody was ejected that game.
No.
You would think somebody would be, but nobody was.
No, but they were fun. It was a fun series to watch. And it was the next year too. I mean, the Phils and the Dodgers during that time period had games that were must-see TV for me. Obviously, any Phils games must-see TV for me, but there's certain teams that you're going to see a really hard-fought game, and that's what I liked about the Phils-Dodgers games during that time frame.
That was a good series. I mean, the Phillies won 4-1, but it wasn't like every game was a complete blowout. I mean, the difference was 5 runs, and that was Game 3, 7-2.
Right.
That was the biggest separation. Game 1 was 1 run. Game 2 was 3 runs. 4 was 2 runs. 5 was 4 runs.
Yeah, I mean they were hard fought games, and the Dodgers weren't slackers by any means. I mean they had just as good a pitching as the Phils did. But that's what I want to see. I don't want to see blowouts. I don't want to see shutouts. I want to see two teams battling back and forth, jockeying for the win. That's a hard-fought game. That pulls me in more as a viewer and a baseball fan.
That series definitely, I mean, well, it's the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers are always a team that you never just want to slouch at. And when the Phillies have them in the series, like you said, 08, 09, it just seems to be that good of a series.
And that was also, that was a battle between two really great managers, between Charlie Manuel and Joe Torre. I mean, it was a perfect storm for that time period of baseball.
Well, yeah, 2 big coaches. I mean, it's just, 2 big managers like that. It's definitely something, to try to get that strategy, to try to get that. We got to try to get this to the, how do we get past them, back and forth, the strategies. Yeah, Game 3 was the heated one, but still.
And you know what? A lot of the Phils series. I mean, the Phils had a series against the Giants in 2010 that was highly contested, and the benches cleared because Utley flipped the ball back to the pitcher after it hit him.
I'll
Which
do it.
I know there's people who hate Chase Utley that aren't Phillies fans. I get it. But no one could take a pitch just to get a runner on base like Chase Utley. There is a compilation from a YouTube channel called Nothing If Not Inconsistent. They do a lot of Phillies comps. And one is just of Utley. It's 10 minutes of Utley getting pegged. And he turns right into it and takes it square on the back. And he just goes right to the base. Like he doesn't react. He doesn't act like it hurts. He just I miss seeing someone play like that. I said that tonight to Jamie. I miss watching Chase Utley play baseball because he was just a gritty baseball player. He was a throwback.
Well, think about when he left Philly and when he came back, everybody gave him a standing ovation.
Oh, that's what you get when you play hard and you hustle and you show up and
When you play with heart and not just play for the check. Which, some players do. It's just like, yep, I'm here.
one of them being Manny Ramirez, who was on the Dodgers in 2008. Sorry, I'm not a Manny Ramirez guy. Anyway, why don't we go into yours before I go down the wormhole here?
Oh, you don't go down the rabbit hole? You don't.
Nope, you on deck.
Mine is, of course, it's hockey. Mine is the 2000 Eastern Conference semifinals between the Flyers and the Penguins. Of course, a rivalry between the two teams, Battle of Pennsylvania. But this game, this playoff series had 2 overtime games, and the one was actually named the marathon game. This game went 5 overtimes. And I have this game on DVD. And I was actually watching it the other day, to be honest with you. It was funny. And it was even before we thought about the topics for this episode. And just watching that just rewatching that series, just thinking of that the game went 5 overtimes, and that was the game that turned the Flyers to win the series. To win that series 4-2. Because the Pens were up 2-0. And the Flyers beat them in game 3, 4-3 in overtime. In game 4, it was the 5 overtime one where Keith Primo scored. I mean, I know these are names going to be going back because Ron Tugnut was in net. And I actually found a document or an article on it where I didn't realize it till I just saw this. According to this, there's only 22 penalty minutes for the whole game. For a whole game 4, which normally Pens Flyers, you'd see that higher. And the shots on goal were 72 for the Flyers and 58 for Pittsburgh. So that goals against average went up substantially. But for that series, for everything I saw, just in the way the Flyers just played after that, and I remember just because I was so amped because of just they beat the Penguins. That year they actually had a really good team, despite they lost in the conference finals to the Devils. But that series, though, was a big, of course, like I said, Phillies-Penguins rivalry. You can't go wrong with that. Anytime the Flyers play the Pens, hell, how many times have me and you talked about they should play an outdoor game at Beaver Stadium? Dead set in the middle of Pennsylvania.
It would probably set a record.
It definitely gets sold out for sure. The Battle of Pennsylvania.
The only downside is that it's a 2-lane highway to get out.
And the parking's not the best.
Come for the 2-hour hockey game. Leave for the 6-hour drive home. That's only normally an hour and a half.
Yeah, yeah, that is a that is a bad part of that. Yeah, because 322 is, it's once you get to 322, it's not that bad. It's just leaving State College in general is the worst part of it. But no, that would be I mean, how many times have we said that? A lot,
for years now.
But no, that series was definitely it became that game 3 became the third longest in NHL history at 92 minutes and 1 second. And what's funny is that was almost beaten 2 years ago in the bubble against Tampa and Columbus, because that game went 5 overtimes, 90 minutes and 27 seconds.
Ooh.
The bubble, gotta love it.
It works.
Yeah, so remember when they said about welcome to the 7th period stretch to kind of add some humor, which I mean, the way they did, I know back to the bubble, here we go. But the way they did the bubble with everything that was going on, they tried to add humor to the games, which it worked. When the one game it said, please leave, at the end of the game, please leave safety, safely go into your vehicles and all that. I think this one said, please leave your couch safely, was one of them. And the fact that I think that was the first year that Bettman didn't get booed, which I would have lost if they would.
We talked about this.
Yeah, and that they should have they were talking about putting the audio in just for the boos, just to bring it back. But no, yeah, I chose that series just because not just because, one, I'm a Flyers fan, two, Penguins Flyers playoffs are always a big rivalry.
Now I got to go back to something here, because you were talking about injecting humor in the 7th period stretch. I don't think anyone can top Mike Emmerich and Bill Clement on the call of the Easter Epic from '87, because they were just wrecked. They sounded drunk. They were that tired.
Yes, they were.
Clement has his tie wrapped around his head like a headband, and
yep, like he's Rambo going in for war.
Well, by that point, it probably felt like war.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just seeing that was just funny.
Thank God for YouTube, or that'd have been lost in time.
Right? That's definitely yeah. That's definitely something. That's definitely something to see with that Tyrann said, like I said, he's looking like Rambo.
I don't think anyone could ever top them calling that multi-overtime game.
Nope. But I do find it funny, though. I mean, yourself, in any hockey game, especially in overtime, how many goals are pretty? They're not that many.
They are ugly.
Yes. But as anything else, it doesn't matter how it goes in as long as it goes in. That's
what she said.
What matters. How did I know you were going to go there? I was waiting for it.
You left it open.
There you go. Put on a plate there for you.
You did.
But this one by Primo was actually pretty. This actually was a pretty goal to end that game. Yeah, no, I mean, with playoff, even baseball, when you go into, deep into the game, the tension rises just because it's playoffs and you want to win that game. But when you go past 9 innings,
I mean, it's any game, it's any sport. Once you go past regulation and you're fighting for a playoff spot, I mean, look at last year in the NFL. I mean, there were games.
That one.
I believe it was the Chiefs and the Bills.
Oh,
we even talked about it, I think, on the show.
That went back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, those are the kind of games that are so fun to watch because, one, you don't know when it's going to end, but you know that when it ends, it's going to be awesome. and the place is either going to lose their mind or they're going to just be completely wrecked because the team didn't win. But you know you're watching something special as it's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something. Yeah, that's any type of overtime, like you said, sport. Well, look at the Super Bowl. Yeah, I know when Brady won it, when they played Atlanta, first time a Super Bowl went to overtime. And look, and that was exciting because you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know what was going on, and
you got to think whether it be, I mean, for baseball it's extra innings, other sports it's overtime, so on. If you have to kick into an extra gear, you're not playing with what you had at the beginning of the game. You now got to dig deep. And to me, I think that makes whichever team wins even that much stronger coming out of it going into their next game. Because you have that momentum. You have that.
Yeah, that push.
Yep.
Well, think of this. You brought up the Chiefs and Bills. That game went to overtime. Well, the Chiefs did overtime for the conference championship against the Bengals. So they had 2 overtime games in a row.
Yeah.
So so think of that one for them. Now, playoff hockey, or playoffs in general. I mean, I just love playoff hockey just because it's that, and playoffs in general are always fun to watch. Because when me and my wife first met, I took her to her hockey game in the playoffs. It was against Hershey Bears games. I forget who they were against. I forget what game it was, and it was during the Calder Cup Finals. Luckily enough, they won, but still, that was her first ever hockey game.
So what's funny is Jamie and I's second date was a preseason Bears game.
Didn't you get that in the box?
She somehow got box seats, yeah. And the next box over was my old boss from my old job. It wasn't awkward by any means. It was fine, but it was just funny that I hadn't seen him in like a year, and there him and his wife are in the box beside us.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, on that note, that'd be the end of the third period. Oh, gotta love it.
You're right.
Yay! I'm always all right. It's like out of the corner of my eye, I see like I'm on the tablet. I have the Hurricanes and the Sharks on. Out of the corner of my eye, all I see is the back and forth on the ice.
Gotcha. Well, so, I'll update you. The Dodgers are still losing in the 8th. And still 2-1. So.
I was actually looking to bring that game back on. Was on FS1, I think it was on.
Yes, FS1.
Yeah, because I was actually just looking to bring that one up too. Full count.
So real quick here, you can catch me on the Philly Baseball Together podcast. That is monthly throughout the baseball season. That is myself and my co-host Tori, who I mentioned in the first period was at tonight's Phillies game. And you can join us every month as we discuss what's going on with the Phils. We did record an episode last Friday. I don't believe it's been posted yet. Brad from Baseball Together is the production guru on that. I just clean up the audio and send it to him, and when he has time, he posts it. So I don't know when that's going to be posted. It's already a little dated at this point. No worries. But you can find the Philly Baseball Together podcast wherever you get your podcast. You can also catch me on the weeks that we don't do NASPod. I'm on the Rock and Randy's podcast, where myself and the other moderators of the Rock and Randy's Pro Wrestling Outlaws Facebook group bring our admin chat to you, the listener. I got to tell you, we're 3 episodes in, and every episode I'm damn near in tears. because it is literally our chat come to life. It really is. Between Albert's impersonations and Smokey's just non sequitur humor, it kills me. Last episode, or episode 3, I think we really found our groove. We did our dream wrestling cards, and it gave us a ton of topics to talk about. The show runs 2 hours. If you like wrestling, give us a listen to. If you know us from the groups, give us a listen to. We're having a lot of fun doing it. I don't know what we're talking about next week, but I'm sure it'll be something fun. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. The A Show is back with Matt and Chris. That's I think that's also bi-weekly. It's a wrestling podcast, the two of them and a guest, or I think they were doing 2 guests now. Draft and book the best wrestling show within the parameters they give each week. You can find the A Show on CKCC Radio and wherever else you get your podcasts. Last but certainly not least, please go check out Broken Kayfabe by my good friend Frankie and his co-host Ariel. Those 2 guys, it's kind of considered the after show of Breaking Kayfabe with Bowdrin and Barry. Give it a listen to just because Frankie's a freaking great guy. Him and his wife do a lot of really great charity stuff, and they do a lot of great stuff to bring fans who maybe can't afford to make it to the one fan fest. They fly them in. They put them up in a hotel. They take care of their needs. They're just really awesome people, and that's why I'm going to continue to plug Broken Kayfabe until the cows come home, because
why not?
They're good people. Gotta give love when it deserves it. I don't think I have anything else. David is making quite the face. What are you watching?
The game. Did you see his hand?
No, because I'm facing away from the TV.
Oh. I'm not sure if he dislocated it, jammed it, or what. His finger.
But that's good. It's Trey Turner, who's supposed to become a Philly in the free agency. That's awesome.
Yeah, his finger does not look like it should be bent that way. Or look that way, even.
Well, that's why they have that sliding glove.
It wasn't his sliding glove, though.
Sliding mitt, whatever it is. It looks like an oven mitt, for the record.
Kind of does.
Anyway.
Did you have something hot there?
He's putting another one on.
What, another mitt, or?
Yeah.
The way his hand looked, it just looked like he jammed his finger.
Now he looks like Daffy Duck getting into the ring with Elmer Fudd.
Yep. That's all, folks.
I'm just going deep with the references tonight. I'm sorry, everyone.
No, you're not.
I don't think we have any more plugs. And my plugs tonight were really rambling because I'm dead tired. Do you have anything? No? Yes? Maybe?
I'm good.
All right. Thank you for joining us for episode 56 of the Not Another Sports Podcast. You can find us online through our Linktree account that is listed in the description of every episode. Click that link, and it will take you to our website, our Anchor page, our social media accounts, our store. If you go to our store, get a shirt. We have plenty of T-shirt designs. We have one with our meaty-looking faces on them. We have the NASCAR parody shirt. The front offices kill fan bases shirts. And I think we have some long sleeve shirts as well.
Mm-hmm. Hoodies.
Go check us out. We have hoodies.
That time of year.
All designed by David. David did a lot of hard work on them, and we appreciate that. If you want to watch us, we are on YouTube. David posts those videos Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, the week after the show comes out. So if you want to watch those, they're in period segments. So if you want to watch them, please subscribe to our YouTube page. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you do, leave us a comment. Let us know that you're watching us and what you think. With that, the Not Another Sports Podcast is available for streaming or download at Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and I don't even know where else anymore. We're everywhere, man. like Johnny Cash. We've been everywhere. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. With that, I am Jason.
I'm David.
And let's go Phillies!
Absolutely. Have a good one.